What is the good thing about depression? Is there any? And I think there is, although it's hard to find. I wrote something down, and I wrote, depression is the universe giving you permission to live the life you always wanted to live. I think the reason why we get depressed is because we've been doing the wrong things with the wrong intentions for so long, for years, decades, that we just can't take it anymore. Like, it takes energy. It takes so much energy to do these things we don't want to do. I also wrote, depression or suicidality doesn't mean that you have to die. It just means that some aspects of you have to die. I think depression is a prison of the mind, of old thought patterns that no longer serve us. You know, I've never liked accounting, and yet I studied it, and yet I worked as an accountant for, I don't know, 8-9 years. And I was dying gradually by doing that because I never wanted it. And why did I do it? And I think that's one of the main reasons of depression, is there is something we deeply want, but we're looking for it in all the wrong places, in all the wrong ways. What do I need when I study a thing I'm not interested in, not at all? And why do I keep then working in that field for so long? Why do we do things we do not want to do? Depression is trying to meet our unmet needs in all the wrong places and in all the wrong ways, with all the wrong attitude. It seems to me that we're all here to do something that we're called to do. And it can be whatever. It can seem very, very insignificant. If I really like collecting photographies of like tree bark, why not? That's my purpose. But I think early on we were told by others that what we're interested in is not useful, is wrong, and that we're wrong for thinking that, for feeling that, and all our interests were shut down if they didn't align with the adults. So we try to fit in because we want to be loved, we want to be accepted, and so we study hard in school even though we don't see any purpose in doing so. Then we study hard in university, and then we sit in an office building that we also hate and we're dying inside, and we're trying so hard to get the love, the appreciation, the inclusiveness that we seek, and we never get it, and all our energy is going into the wrong place, and then we're left with none, and then we become depressed, and then we become suicidal, and then we die. And that's very unfortunate. And how did we get this way? And so I think the good thing about depression is that it's a sign that it's enough. Like, the way we've been trying to live doesn't work anymore, and we don't have to try that specific way anymore. We don't have to stay in that job we hate, or in that relationship we hate, or in the country we hate, and we don't have to study the things we don't want to study. We can do whatever we want. You know why depression is good? Because it's like, you're dying anyway, so why not do something else, something you actually wanted to do, right? And even if your dying wish is to go to Peru or something, and you buy a ticket and go there, chances are, by going there, you'll actually want to live again. You know, it's not life that we don't want to live, it's the way we've been living for the last years or decades that we just can't take anymore. And honestly, that way is not good for us, and we shouldn't live like that. Depression and suicidality doesn't mean that we have to die, like physically. It means that some aspects of us have to die, and more specifically, the way we think about ourselves, about the universe, about the relationship we have towards anything and everything, that has to change. I don't think this earth is like a prison planet that we are somehow punished to come here and suffer and die. I think we are here to explore and learn and find meaning and happiness. And by happiness, I don't mean like, woo, everything is amazing and tastes great. It's more like, yeah, this is nice. You know, that kind of calm, nice happiness that goes through your entire body. And so we are betraying ourselves by trying to do things that other people want us to do, and we want to fit in, so we're doing these things despite our best interests, despite that we hate those things. And so we're creating a fake life, fake personality, everything is shit, and then obviously we're miserable. And there are many points in our lives where something happens that gives us a path, shows us a path to go somewhere else. But we're stubborn and we continue on the same old path that is very wrong for us. It might look good on the paper, but it feels wrong. And we don't feel anymore, so we can't case correct. And then at one point, universe is like, bam, depression, here you go. This is your sign that the way you've been living is not the way you were supposed to. It's not wrong, you still learn a lot, but when else are you gonna try to actually live? After you die? That's not how it works. You know, and the crazy thing is, we might actually be doing the same things that we hate. But maybe, let's say somebody studies medicine because their parents demanded them to become a doctor. Otherwise, that child is disowned. You know, are you a doctor yet? And so that child went and studied medicine and then is now a doctor and is hating every single second of it. But maybe if they stepped away from it, they let go, they stopped, and depression is telling us to stop. We don't have any energy left. We feel like shit. We just want to sleep. We might not even want to eat. We don't want to move. Yes, because we have been throwing all our energy in the wrong place. We have to stop. Not existing, but stopping that incessant, like, going against the wall. Let's say that person who is a doctor stops seeing patients, takes a break with the intention of never coming back. It might so happen that once that person deals with whatever they had to deal with, they will go back to medicine because they will realize that helping people is their purpose. That's what they feel compelled to do. They actually don't hate it, they just hated being told to do it. If depression is us looking for the things we need in all the wrong places, then we need to look for those things in other places. Also, we need to figure out what it is that we need. If I need my mother to love me in a specific way and she never does, and I spend my entire life trying to please her and doing what she wants and never living my own life, then of course I'll get depressed and she will not be happy. And what's the problem here? Love from the mother. Is she able to give it to me? What if not? If someone doesn't want to love us in a specific way, there's nothing we can do. We can try, but ultimately we have to accept that it's never going to happen and we have to let it go. That's where the heaviness happens, because we just want it so much. And so if it's love from the mother, then maybe it's letting go of the mother, you know, getting love somewhere else, ideally within yourself. Well, maybe you've never had the childhood you wanted. Maybe you've always wanted to just feel safe and loved, and you wanted to feel appreciated and included, and that never happened. You were expected to perform and you were expected to be an adult, and you were never allowed to be a child, and you never felt safe. It's like, if I don't get that childhood back, if I don't get that love, that parental love that I wanted, then I can never be happy. What is depression? Depression is unmet needs, and it's also self-hate. And when and how did we get there? Right? A baby isn't born hating themselves. baby is just like, ooh, ah. When we genuinely express who we are and what we are interested in and what we want, and we are shut down, that's where we learn that we're not worthy, we're not good enough, we are wrong, we are bad, and we have to shut it all off. We need to lock it away and become this robotic figure that just does things, all this society good things. Like, look at me, I'm going to school, look at me, I'm working in an office, you know. We don't even know what we want because wanting, having genuine wants was punished. Parents would punish us for speaking our mind. It's in school, teachers would punish us, or friends would punish us, maybe less so, but still. Every single place we go, we are not allowed to be ourselves. We are not allowed to be authentic. We are not allowed to have opinions, wants, needs. We have to conform. We have to fit in. We have to become what everybody else wants us to be. We have to be chameleons. And another process is grieving that I didn't get that in the capacity I needed. And then it is learning ways how I can get that for myself. Childhood is gone. It happened. I can't do anything about it. And my parents now may or may not love me in the way I needed as a child. But it's not their job. If they're not able or willing to do it, there's no reason for me to be angry. I can, of course, at least initially. How dare you not give me this thing? But then it's like, they did the best they could, and it was almost good enough. But now, I'm no longer a small child, but now I can give what I've always needed. I can hold that safe, loving space for myself. And other people can help me, but I have to go look for them. Depression seems very heavy. And when somebody says, oh, you just need to exercise more or eat better, it feels like I just can't do any more. I'm existing on my last fumes. I just can't possibly add more weight. And so the solution is to let go. Let go on all the things that didn't work out the way I wanted them. Letting go of this concept that things have to work out in a specific way for me to be happy. And it is about taking ownership and actually creating the life I've always wanted for myself. This is very hard to do because when we're depressed, we do not have our best interests in mind. But before it gets to extreme levels of depression and suicidality, or maybe after, if we somehow manage to stay alive, we can go look for help. And we can finally start resolving the thing. And we can finally start to build a life we wanted to live. When I realized this, it was actually very freeing. It's like, if I'm already willing to die now, why not just go and try to create the life I've always wanted to live? I don't know if I can, but why not just try? And if I die attempting to create that life, then that's a better death then, right? I think we've all forgotten or never really realized that we are always lovable and deserving of good things. Always, regardless what we do, regardless what happens to us. Why are we depressed? Well, we do things we hate in the ways we hate 24/7. We never do anything we like. We don't even know what we like. We don't even know who we are. We've created a fake personality to please others. Go study this, go work as this, have family, don't have family, buy this car, buy this boat. Conform. And we are spending all our energy into this fakeism, and then it's like, oh, I don't want to live anymore. Oh no. So I think when universe gives us depression, it's a good wake-up call. It's actually a slap across the face, but it's like, yo, hello. by the way, you are and always have been and always will be lovable and deserving of joy and happiness and all the good things. And I'm giving you this depression because you're stubborn. There have been signs before that you are trying to force yourself on a path that is not your path. I gave you signs. You were like, nah, guess what? I give you permission to start creating the life you always wanted to live. Because this one isn't working. This one is killing you. And coming here to this earth and being extremely miserable and dying wasn't what you agreed to do. I have a friend. What are you? There is nothing that you have to do that you don't want to do. Like, in the most fundamental way. It is terrifying to let go, but that's what we have to do. And we have to surrender to life. All of us have something we are interested about. In the end, we'll all die, so it's like, what would you like to do before you die? And I'd say, follow your joy, whatever that is. Because right now, I studied economics that I never liked. I worked as an accountant for I don't know how many years. I hated it. Every 2 years or year and a half, I would get like serious burnout and depression and some other physical illnesses. And then I would take a couple months off and rest, and then I would go back in. Why? Because I thought that's the only way I can be a respectable human being. That's the only way I will be valued. And who will value me? My parents, the society. What if I let go of the opinion of the society and of my parents? And this is a bit extreme. But parents ultimately are just two random people. And yes, their blood runs in my veins, but they are just people. If what they think is best for me does not align with what I feel is best for me, then I should not care what they think. And it's really hard. And I'm a very stubborn person, so I had to almost die to come to this conclusion. But I want to create, right? And I really, really do not want to go back to the office. And so I have to try to create. It might come to a point where I can't support myself anymore because maybe earning money from creating takes a long time and I need to eat now. I will figure it out then. I can always come back and work in the office for some period of time if that's necessary, but just realizing that I don't have to do things I hate is just so wonderful. And I had to become depressed and suicidal to come to this conclusion. Dissolving depression wasn't easy, but after having gone through that, I am grateful for the experience. Although I never want to experience it again. It is not wrong for us to do what we want to do. I think it's very important. Because if we don't do what we want to do, we get hit by depression. So it's like we don't really have a choice. We have to do what we've always wanted to do. We have to try. We owe it to ourselves to try to be happy. But for us to access that love that's always there within us, we need to start doing things we like. We need to start living for ourselves. I think that's the only way. Because every single person, every single one of us is a beautiful, worthy, lovable human being, regardless of what we've done or what's been done to us. Sure, everything has consequences, but fundamentally, we are wonderful and we deserve all the good things, always. So let's go get them.